Be me, Tessa, 22, living in a basement apartment that smells entirely like damp drywall and other people's laundry detergent. Working as a junior archivist at a university library. Basically, I get paid to tell PhD students they aren't allowed to touch the rare maps with their Cheeto fingers. Life is medium. Life is beige, except for Griffin. Griffin is the constant. We have been orbiting each other since freshman orientation. The kind of friendship where people stop asking, "Are you two dating?" and start assuming you're secretly married and hiding it for tax reasons. We aren't dating. We aren't hooking up. We are just functionally codependent. Griffin is soft, not soft like dough. Soft like a worn-out flannel shirt you found in a thrift store. He apologizes to automatic doors when they don't open fast enough. He wears the same gray zip-up hoodie every single day. I am convinced it is fused to his skin. He listens more than he speaks. He has this way of looking at you like you are the only person who has ever said anything interesting in the history of language. It is dangerous. It is extremely dangerous. Tuesday night. Routine is sacred. We are on the floor of his apartment. His apartment is cleaner than mine but has less soul. Beige walls. Beige carpet. One succulent that is fighting for its life on the windowsill. We are eating pizza that tastes like cardboard and regret. Grease soaking through the paper plates onto his knee. He doesn't move. He looks like he's about to confess a murder, or that he crashed my Honda Civic. Sweating. Leg bouncing. The whole nervous tick menu. I ask him what's wrong. He tries to laugh. It sounds like a car engine failing to turn over. He says, "Tessa, I need to tell you something, but you have to promise not to look at me differently." My stomach drops. I think, oh God, he's in love with me. I think, oh God, he's moving to Portland. He takes a breath, looks at the pizza crust like it holds the secrets of the universe. He tells me. He says he can't be with girls. Not that he doesn't want to, but physically. He says it's over before it starts. Premature. Anxiety-induced. He says the last time he tried, the girl laughed. She actually laughed. He says his body betrays him. He says he's defective. He is looking at the floor. He is picking at a loose thread on the gray hoodie. My heart breaks. Not in a romantic way. In a, this is my person and he is hurting way. I don't laugh. I lean forward. I tell him, "Griffin, that is literally so common." I tell him it's a stress response, it's not a defect. He shakes his head. He says, "You don't get it, no one wants a project." I get annoyed. Irrational annoyance. I say, "Plenty of girls would find it cute." He looks at me, dead in the eye. He says, "Would you?" Silence. The air in the room gets heavy. The radiator clanks. I realize this is a trap. But it's also not a trap. It's a question from a drowning man. I say, yes. I say, because if you really like someone, you work through the glitches. He doesn't believe me. We finish the pizza in silence. I go home. I stare at my ceiling. I think about his hands picking at the thread. I think about how much I hate that unknown girl who laughed. 1 week later. Library shift is hell. Grad student named Kieran is trying to explain the Dewey Decimal System to me. I have a degree in this, Kieran. Shut up, Kieran. My phone buzzes. It's Griffin. Text says, "Were you serious?" I know exactly what he means. I leave Kieran mid-sentence, hide in the stacks near the microfiche machines, smell of old paper and dust. I text back, "About what?" He replies, "About working through the glitches." My thumbs hover. This is the precipice. This is the moment where the friendship ends or mutates. I type, "Yes." He replies, "Can you come over?" I tell my boss I have a family emergency. The emergency is my best friend's libido. I drive to his place, hands shaking on the wheel. Why am I nervous? It's just Griffin. It's just the guy who once threw up on my shoes at a homecoming game. It's just the guy who helps me move furniture. I get there. He is wearing the hoodie. He looks terrified. We sit on the couch. The air is thick. He says, "I don't want to make this weird." I say, "It's already weird, Griffin. Let's just acknowledge it." We make a plan. A routine. Exposure therapy. But for sex. He needs to relearn how to not panic. He needs a safe space. I volunteer as tribute. I tell myself it's altruism. I tell myself I am being a good friend. I am a liar. I am a massive liar. I want him to not be afraid, but I also just want him. And this is the only door that opened. So I walk through it. Enter Reese. Reese is my roommate. Reese is 23 going on 45. Reese works in holistic HR, whatever that means. She owns 12 different types of crystals. She burns sage when I have a bad day. She speaks exclusively in therapy. Instagram infographics. She is currently making a kale smoothie that looks like swamp sludge. I tell her the plan. I don't know why I tell her. Maybe I want someone to stop me. Reese stops the blender. The silence is deafening. She looks at me with pity, deep, aggressive pity. She says, Tessa, holding space for someone's trauma is beautiful, but this is an unpaid internship for a relationship you aren't in. I say, it's not like that. She says, you are acting as a surrogate for his future girlfriend. She says, you are doing the demo work and someone else is going to move into the renovated house. I say, we're just friends. She takes a sip of the swamp sludge. She says, you are monetizing your emotional labor for zero equity. I hate when she uses capitalism metaphors for dating, but I ignore her. I tell her she's cynical. She says, I am protected. She wafts sage in my direction. I leave. The routine begins. Tuesdays and Thursdays. After his chem lab. After my shift. We treat it like a study group. Very clinical at first. Lights off. Fumbling. He is shaking. I am coaching. It's awkward. It's so awkward. But it's also sweet. He stops every 30 seconds to ask if I'm okay. He apologizes if his elbow touches my face. I tell him, Griffin, stop apologizing. You are naked inside a woman. You are doing great. He laughs. It's a real laugh. Slowly. Very slowly. The shaking stops. The panic subsides. We start hanging out afterwards. This is the dangerous part. The after. Lying in his twin bed. Sheets that smell like cedar and cheap detergent. Talking about nothing. Talking about everything. He tells me about his mom. He tells me about his fear of failure. He traces patterns on my arm with his thumb. He doesn't even realize he's doing it. It feels domestic. It feels real. I start leaving things there. Accidental at first. A hair tie. A chapstick. Then intentional. A book I'm reading. A spare toothbrush. He doesn't move them. He puts the toothbrush in the cup next to his. It looks right. It looks like a promise. I start cooking for him. Because he eats like a raccoon. I make pasta. We eat on the floor. He looks at me and says, "You're really good at this." I say cooking. He says caring. My heart does a backflip. My heart is an idiot. I think you're building something. I think this is the prequel to the romance novel. I think I am earning my place. Reese warns me again. She finds me washing his hoodie. She says, "You are providing wife benefits on a friend's salary." I tell her to shut up. She lights a candle called Boundaries. She stares at me through the flame. Month 3. The shift. Griffin is different. He walks taller. He doesn't apologize to the furniture anymore. He laughs louder. We go to IKEA. Big mistake. IKEA is a relationship simulator. We are looking for a bookshelf for his place. He wants the black one. I tell him the white one makes the room look bigger. We are bickering about shelf brackets. An old lady bumps into us with her cart. She smiles. She says, "You two are such a lovely couple." I freeze. I wait for Griffin to correct her. I wait for the, "Oh no, we're just friends." He doesn't. He just smiles and says, "Thank you." He puts his hand on the small of my back to guide me out of the way. My brain short circuits. We get meatballs. We sit in the cafeteria. I ask him, "Why didn't you correct her?" He shrugs. He dips a fry in lingonberry sauce, an absolute crime against food. He says, "It was easier than explaining." He says, "Besides, it's not the worst thing to be confused for." He smiles at me. That soft smile. The one that ruins my life. I think this is it. I think we are transitioning. I think I have fixed him and now I get to keep him. The next week, family meddling. My mom calls. She asks about Griffin. She always asks about Griffin. She loves Griffin. She thinks he is polite. She asks, is he coming to Thanksgiving? I say, probably. She says, you know your cousin Rachel is bringing her new boyfriend. She says, it would be nice if you had someone. I say, I have Griffin. She pauses. The mom pause, loaded with judgment and disappointment. She says, honey, Griffin is a placeholder. She says, you can't live in the waiting room forever. I hang up. I am angry. Because everyone is telling me the same thing. And I am refusing to listen. Because I know him. They don't know him. They don't see how he looks at me when we watch movies. They don't know about the nights where we just hold each other. That has to count for something. Intimacy isn't just friction. It's the safety. I am his safety. You don't throw away your safety. Month 4, February. The air changes. It's subtle at first. He texts less. Usually he sends me memes at 2 a.m. Stupid videos of raccoons. Now it's silence. I assume he's busy. Midterms. Stress. I go over on Tuesday. Our routine. He meets me at the door. He is wearing jeans. Not sweatpants. Jeans. In his own house. This is a red flag. This is a siren. He says, hey, I can't really hang out tonight. I have a study group. I say, oh, okay. I say, I brought the leftover lasagna. He looks guilty. Flash of guilt. He says, that's so sweet, Tessa, thank you. He takes the Tupperware. He doesn't invite me in. I stand in the hallway, holding my keys, feeling like a delivery driver. I say, Thursday then? He scratches the back of his neck. He says, yeah, maybe let me check my schedule. Schedule. We never check schedules. We just exist. I walk back to my car. It's raining. Of course it's raining. I sit in the Honda. It makes that rattling noise. I grip the steering wheel. I have a bad feeling. A pit in my stomach. The kind you get when you realize you left the stove on. But the stove is your heart. 2 weeks of fade. The slow fade. The worst kind. He answers texts, but with one word. Lol. Nice. Damn. No questions. No engagement. I am doing all the lifting. I am carrying the conversation like a couch up 3 flights of stairs. Reese watches me. She doesn't say, I told you so, which is worse. She just makes me extra strong herbal tea. Tea that tastes like dirt and pity. She says, energy cannot be created or destroyed, Tessa. It just transfers. She says he is transferring his energy. I say, stop talking like a physics textbook written by a witch. But I know she's right. The reveal. Library shift. Kieran is eating an apple loudly. Crunch. 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 I am scrolling Instagram. Doom scrolling. I see a tag. Mutual friend. Picture of a group at a bar. There is Griffin. He is not wearing the hoodie. He is wearing a button-down shirt. I have never seen this shirt. Who bought him this shirt? He is sitting next to a girl. Blonde, shiny hair, perfect teeth. The kind of girl who was head cheerleader but nice about it. She has her hand on his knee. He is laughing, head thrown back, mouth open. He looks confident. He looks happy. He looks finished. I zoom in. I zoom in on his face. He looks like a stranger. Kieran asks me if I'm okay. I say no, Kieran. I am having a stroke. Please be quiet. I text Griffin. I keep it casual. Breezy. Hey, saw you were out. Looked fun. 3 hours later. 3 agonizing hours. Reply. Yeah, sorry I've been MIA. Met someone. Wanted to tell you. Wanted to tell you. Past tense. Implies he didn't. Implies he was hoping I would just disappear. Vaporize into the ether. Once my utility was exhausted. The coffee. We meet up. Neutral ground. Campus coffee shop. Smells like burnt beans and desperation. He looks great. He looks glowing. He sits down. He doesn't apologize. He says her name is Madelyn. He says she's in my psych class. He says it's crazy, Tessa, we just clicked. He tells me about their first date. He tells me he wasn't nervous. He looks at me with wide eyes. He says, I wasn't even anxious physically. It just worked. He smiles. He says, you really helped me. I don't think I could have done this without you. He reaches across the table, pats my hand, like I am his grandmother, like I am a helpful tutor, like I am a stepping stone he has successfully walked across. I feel bile in my throat. I smile. My face feels like a mask made of clay. I say, that's great, Griffin. I'm so happy for you. The lie tastes like ash. He talks about her for 20 minutes. She volunteers at an animal shelter. She makes her own granola. She is perfect. She is the destination. I was the practice run. I was the tutorial level. He beat the level. Now he's playing the real game. He checks his watch. He says, I gotta run, meeting Madelyn for lunch. Madelyn, she has a nickname already. He stands up, hugs me. A quick hug. A friend hug. No lingering. No thumb rubbing. He leaves. I sit there, staring at my lukewarm latte. I feel used, but I can't say I was used, because I volunteered. I signed the waiver. I walked into the buzzsaw willingly. The fallout. Reese goes nuclear. I come home and find her pacing. She has lit every candle in the apartment. It looks like a seance. She says we are cutting the cord. She says block him. I say I can't block him. He's my best friend. She says he is a parasite, Tessa. She says he harvested your confidence and gave it to Madelyn. She starts aggressively organizing our spice rack, slamming jars of turmeric. She yells, men will use you for character development and then thank you in the credits of their life while someone else gets the starring role. I sit on the floor. I cry. Ugly cry. Snot and heaving. Reese sits next to me, stops yelling. She holds me. She smells like patchouli and rage. She says, it's okay to be mad at the things you allowed. That hits me hard. I allowed it. I wanted to be the exception. I wanted to be the one who saved him and got the prize. But life isn't a movie. Saving someone doesn't make them owe you their love. It just makes them saved. The logistical nightmare. Life goes on, cruelly. My car breaks down. Alternator dead. I am stranded on the side of the highway. Raining again. Universe hates me. Instinctively, I call Griffin. He always picks up. He is my emergency contact. It rings. And rings. And rings. Voicemail. Hey, it's Griffin. Leave a message. His voice sounds happy on the recording. I call again. Nothing. I sit there. Hazards flashing, trucks rushing by, shaking the car. I realize I am alone. Really alone. I have to call a tow truck myself. I have to pay $200. I don't have. I have to wait 2 hours. Griffin texts me 4 hours later. Sorry, was at the movies with Madelyn. Everything oak? I stare at the screen. I type, yeah, fine, just butt dial. I delete it. I type, car died, but handled it. He replies, oh damn, that sucks. Glad you got it sorted. Glad you got it sorted. Corporate speak. Distance. He is receding. He's becoming a pixel. The awkward dinner. 2 weeks later, he insists we all hang out. He says, I want my 2 favorite people to meet. This is torture. This is a violation of the Geneva Convention. But I go because I am a masochist. And because I want to hate her. I want to find a flaw. Maybe she chews with her mouth open. Maybe she is rude to waiters. We meet at an Italian chain restaurant. Olive Garden vibes. Bottomless salad. Madelyn is there. She is glowing. She stands up to hug me. She smells like vanilla and expensive shampoo. She says Griffin talks about you all the time. You're the librarian, right? She is nice. She is genuinely nice. She asks me questions. She listens. She laughs at my jokes. I look at Griffin. He is looking at her. With that look, the You are the only person in the world, look. The look he used to give me when we were high on post-coital clarity. Now it belongs to her. He holds her hand on the table. He plays with her rings. He is comfortable. He is healed. I am sitting across from the version of him I built, enjoying the features I installed. With another user, I eat a breadstick. It tastes like sawdust. Madelyn says, Griffin tells me you guys go way back. Griffin nods. He says, yeah, Tessa is the best. She's like a sister to me. Sister. The word echoes in my head, bouncing around my skull, destroying everything. Sister, I smile. I take a sip of wine. I say, yep, just like a brother. I look at him. He doesn't flinch. He believes it. He has rewritten history. He has edited out the nights on the twin bed. He has filed them under growing pains, not romance. Reese was right. I was the unpaid intern. The bureaucracy of leaving. Summer comes. Lease is up. Reese is moving in with her boyfriend. Ironic. I need to find a place. I can't afford the rent alone. I think about asking Griffin to help me move. But I don't. I hire movers. 2 guys named Rick and Dave. They smell like cigarettes. They break my lamp. I don't care. I am packing up my room. I find his hoodie, the gray one. He left it here months ago, before the jeans, before the button-downs, before Madelyn. I hold it. It still smells like him. Cedar and faint anxiety. I think about texting him. Hey, I have your hoodie. It would be an excuse, a reason to see him, a way to drag this out. I stand there for 10 minutes, holding the cotton, weighing the pain. I make a choice. I put the hoodie in the donation bag, Goodwill pile. Someone else can wear the armor. I seal the box. Tape ripping sound, loud and final. The final conversation. I run into him one last time, campus bookstore. He is buying textbooks for next semester. He sees me. He waves. He looks older. He looks settled. We talk, surface level. How's summer? Good, busy. How's Madelyn? Great, she's visiting her parents. Silence. Awkward pause. He looks at me, really looks at me. He says, hey Tessa. Voice drops a little. He says, I never really said thank you properly. I brace myself. He says, you know, for everything last year, you made it easier not to be afraid. He smiles. It's sincere. It's oblivious. He thinks he is giving me a compliment. He thinks he is validating our friendship. He doesn't know he is twisting the knife. I look at him. I see the boy who apologized to furniture. I see the man who is going to marry Madelyn. I realize I don't fit in either story anymore. I smile, sharp and bright. I say, don't worry about it, Griffin. What are friends for? He nods, relieved. He checks his phone. Madelyn, probably. He says, I gotta run, catching a train. He hugs me. One last time. Smells like vanilla now. Transfer of scent. He pulls away. He says, let's get lunch soon. I say definitely. We both know we won't. Ending. I walk out of the bookstore. Sun is blinding. Humidity at 90%. My phone buzzes. Email notification. Lease signed on a new studio. Small. Expensive. Far away from campus. Far away from his apartment. I walk to the bus stop. Bus 44. Engine idling. Loud. Smells like diesel. I get on. I sit by the window. I watch the campus roll by. I see the coffee shop. I see the library. I see a guy in a gray hoodie walking down the street. Heart jumps. It's not him, just some random freshman. Starting his loop. I lean my head against the glass. Vibration of the engine in my skull. It hurts. It hurts a lot. But the bus is moving. Wheels turning. Leaving the orbit. I put my headphones in. Play something loud. I close my eyes. I am alone, but I am moving forward. And for the first time in a year, I am not waiting for anyone to tell me I'm good enough. Bus merges into traffic. I delete his number. Gone.